So, good morning, Absurdity fans. Where do we begin? Okay, where? Which absurdity first? I left my comments open last night when I went to sleep. My post that said, so it's logical to believe that the sun is not behind the moon during a solar eclipse, right? That was what I posted. It's logical to think the sun is not behind the moon. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? No. It can't be behind the moon during a solar eclipse. It can't be. Because according to your science, it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the light to reach us. I've heard certain astrophysicists actually say, no, it's not there, it's already shifted. If that is the case, it takes 8 minutes. Well, it doesn't, okay? But we've got to play along. It takes 8 minutes for that sun to come and hit the moon. That's what you're being told, okay? So, when the moon is in front of the sun, the light that is hitting that moon, according to Mickey Mouse science, right? It took 8 minutes and 20 seconds to hit the moon. That, because it's finite, right? It can be measured in little stages, right? Start and finish lines and all of that rubbish. So it took 8 minutes and 20 seconds to hit the moon. That means that this sun is somewhere over here. The end. You cannot get out of it. When you see a solar eclipse, the sun is not there, according to your speed of light. Relativity. It's moved the delay, right? Same as they say, if you look at Jupiter, you're not seeing Jupiter as it is. You've got to wait for the sun's light to go all the way to Jupiter and then bounce back to you, right? So it's something like 40 something minutes or an hour or something ridiculous. It's not. It's there in the sky where you see it. That's why. But it is more than obvious, more than obvious that when the sun is being blocked out by the moon during a solar eclipse, right? That the sun really is right behind the moon. It's live. There is no 8 minutes and 20 seconds that way, that way, that way, or that way. Not even a second. It's absolute light. Now, not allowed to say certain things about certain subjects because it's just not cricket. So, this morning is about spoiler alerts. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 spoiler alerts, okay? Spoiler alerts. We're allowed to do spoiler alerts, aren't we? Without social media blocking the posts. Spoiler alert. Which one do you want first? Tell you what, let's do the speed of light. Here's your spoiler alert. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, okay? All right. The light radiating from any light source, right? It's absolute. There is no travel time after. It doesn't matter whether it's a match, a flashlight, a laser, or a star. If I turn this on, right, it's night time. Somebody's 4, 8, 10 Ks away. However far a distance, they need to be for when this drops out of sight. I mean, we're talking about diameters, right? So somebody, let's say 20 kilometers, right on the walkie-talkie. Yeah, no, I cannot see it. Okay, now, they've just reached the end of the line for this light, 20 Ks. If they come back half a K, they can see it, okay? So if I turn it off and I go, bang, instantly, yeah, I can see it, it's on. You're flashing it. That is what would happen, okay? Now, when he moves that extra half a K away, and now he can't see it, I can't see it now, it's not gonna travel to him, right? Just basic common sense. It's not gonna travel towards him. He's not gonna wait there for a day and bing, oh, there he is. It doesn't work like that. This is common sense, right? It's absolute. It does not matter size, right? So when you have a star, all these Mickey Mouse, let's say Proxima Centauri, for example, right? This is Proxima. They say it takes 4.2 years, light years, right? There's no such thing as a light year. Light years. It does not, right? I guarantee you, right? Remember, these are spoiler alerts. If another star appeared right next to Proxima Centauri for whatever reason, right? And bang, right now, and it was nighttime when we looked up, we'd go, oh, what's that next to Proxima? That is how fast light travels. It's absolute. In the night sky, there's no limitations. Exactly the same as our eyesight. Slam dunk. Bang. Prove me wrong, right? It's common sense. So we see these stars, every single star we see in the night sky, they haven't traveled years and light years to get to us. It's ridiculous. It's the same as the flashlight. When they're on, they turn on, bang, we see it immediately, right? Immediately. What's this travel towards us? 4.2 light years travel, same as a flashlight. Somebody that's at the very end of this, right? 19.5 Ks, can't see it anymore. It's no difference than a star, right? It's the same as when I was trying to work out with the two scale things. It's like, people, this should be common sense, right? A light source is a light source. No source, no light, right? It's common sense. This is your spoiler alert. The light from the sun and all stars and every other source is going to turn out to be absolute. There is no evidence whatsoever for 299,792,458 meters per second. It's a joke. And the methods used, starting with Römer, to work out the speed of light in the 1600s, right? Speed of light. Over 9 years, observing a moon orbiting its planet. Over 9 years to work out the speed of light. People, you've got mirrors being spun. Mirrors being spun. What on earth is a mirror going to do? You've got Pizzo, 16-kilometer beam of light. 8 kilometers one way, hits a mirror, and 8 kilometers back. Right? Struggle doing that today with the laser. He did that before electricity. Why don't they show us? Why don't they show us how Römer observed Io from different spots as we were in our orbit around the sun? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. One day, people, you are going to understand, you're going to realize that you've been had. These are spoiler alerts. There is no light without a source. Just show me one light, not even the luminescent fish, right? At the bottom of the ocean. there's a source. Light will not carry on once the source is out. It's common sense. I turn this off. It's not going to travel. Oh yeah, but it's only a small torch. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing, whether it's a star or this, right? If it goes out, it goes out. This beam of light is not going to continue on its own and keep going until it hits something. It's beyond comprehension. The things that they have people believing and the things you hear them say. So this is a spoiler alert, okay? Spoiler alert. The light from everything is absolute, right? It will radiate as far as it's going to go immediately. After that, there's no travel time, right? Proxima Centauri went out right now, well, night time tonight, it went out. We'd be going, where's Proxima gone? It's not going to take 4 years for us to realize. It wouldn't take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for us to realize the sun had gone out. If it goes out, it's gone. Light doesn't travel on its own. It's absolute. No source, no light. And I'm not talking about ketchup, okay? No source, no light. Slam dunk. Otherwise, they need to prove this stuff. This is just common sense. Light is very easy to work out, okay? There's your spoiler alert. Now, what else? What other spoiler alert do you want? I'll tell you what other spoiler alert. I'm allowed to do spoiler alerts, aren't I? Oh yes, but I don't know, it's anti-establishment. So fucking what? There were no moon landings. Slam dunk. Just spoiler alert, okay? You could see it on the faces of Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin. They were carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, keeping a secret that they should not have been asked to keep. Especially Michael Collins, who spent 30 orbits, they say, of the moon, 31, on his own. The other two had each other. If you ever saw any of the press conferences, did people not understand body language, right? Michael Collins had the disadvantage that he didn't have a buddy with him when he was orbiting the moon. So he was probably one of the most lonely people on this planet because he did not have anyone to share one of the biggest lies humanity has ever been told. He had to carry that himself. That carrying something like that. And I tell you what, there are people who know about this, and I guarantee you some of them are feeling the same. They don't want to be carrying the burden of one of the biggest hoaxes mankind has ever seen, right? This is a spoiler alert. No moon landings. Why? 1969, people. Are you insane? 1969. They got to the moon with a telescope and a sextant. I mean, we are talking eight round trips, right? 8 round trips. Orbited the moon with people from Apollo 8, was it 8 or 9? That went up, did that first little test run, and then 10 went up to take the pictures where it descended to 7 miles or 7 Ks of the moon, descended, stopped, took some happy snaps, and then went back up. It's like everybody's been hit with a bit of a silly stick and it's stuck, right? These things are anti-common sense. And then 11, and then 12, 13 thrown in because otherwise everything would have looked too perfect. 14, 15, 16, 17, and was it 16, 17, 18 with buggies, with moon buggies, sorry, 15, 16, and 17, with moon buggies, half-ton moon buggies. Three flights, boom, boom, boom. Look at them today. Oh yeah, but we don't have the technology that we had back then. That is an absurdity. I never tire of listening to that one, and people believe it. People say it, they repeat it. When you say to them, no you didn't, why are you going now? Well, we don't have the technology now. Are you stupid, right? All of these things. So it's your other spoiler, and obviously there's no moon. That means Mars. Just look at the footage of ingenuity and perseverance, right? People, are you blind? Are you blind? There's a chute that opens, right? First of all, the sky crane maneuver, or sky crane thing, comes flying down with the weight of ingenuity, right, and perseverance, and it lets them go. And you can see this thing in the back, like something takes some camera somewhere, and it drops them off and then goes off into the Mars, whatever. 1% of the atmosphere up there as there is on Earth. 1%. And this thing, it's just so stupid, right? It's so stupid, it hurts. I'm saying that more and more often. It's ridiculous, right? And then you see the chute open, and then there's a slow-mo. They say speed reduced by 30% or something like that. And then they show you the other chute with slow-mo, same chute. It's not the same chute, it's not the same angle, and it's not the same arm. There's all of these things, right? But it just, people slap on the head a little bit, right? So there's a knock-on effect here. If the first one didn't happen, I'm afraid, like dominoes, okay? Common sense. And I'm going to say something else, another spoiler alert. Another spoiler alert. So that's we've got light, the moon, right? And now another spoiler alert for you. We're allowed spoiler alerts. This is like I'm making predictions, yeah? Everybody's allowed to make predictions, aren't they? Everybody does it. Just write these down. Thrust in a vacuum. Vacuum is 2 U's, isn't it? Is it 2 U's? Oh, look. Alexa, I'm having a moment. That's vacuum. Thrust in a vacuum. Not all as it seems, okay? Spoiler alert. You'll see. So, thrust in a vacuum, okay? These are 2 U's. Who cares? Right. Another one. Skirting around the perimeter fence, right? The climate. Man-made climate change. Climate change. Nobody, right, can predict what the climate's going to be doing next year on this planet. Nobody. There are too many variables. Nobody knows why the planet is heating slightly or cooling slightly. There are too many variables. The end. The fact that they've made so many people believe that they know, it's insane. It could be an endless amount of things, right? From underwater eruptions that's changing the seabed floor, that's changing the currents, it's changing the way the ice flows, it's causing water displacement. So obviously when land is being added to the water, even though it's tiny amounts at a time, it's changing the bottom, isn't it? So the currents are going to move differently. The temperature's going to be changing. There's 80% of the volcanic activity on this planet, it makes sense, right? Happens underneath the water, on the seabed, right? The ring of fire. People, the ocean is changing every single second. The atmosphere changes every single second. The moon, they say, allegedly, is moving away by about 3 centimeters or something every year. So, Alexa, how far away is the moon moving away from us every year?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the moon is moving away from Earth at about 1.49 inches, 3.78 centimeters per year. And as it moves away, its orbital period increases and Earth's rotation slows down.
Right there. There is never, ever an identical condition 1 second to the next. So why on earth do people think the climate's going to be the same? Why do people get alarmed when it changes slightly? It's a freaking planet. It has a molten core and we're orbiting a star. Of course it's going to change. And we don't know which way it's going to go. Nobody knows which way it's going to go. And anybody who tells you that they do know is lying. It's common sense. There are too many variables. The end. It's that clear cut, right? But all this, they have hammered and hammered everybody. The children of yesterday who are now adults, it's under their skin. Of course you believe it, but you really, really think about it. It is impossible for anybody to know what the climate's going to be doing next year and why it's either getting cold or getting warmer. It's impossible to know, right? The end. God, these things are so clear cut, right? This is logic. Logic and common sense. You don't need a calculator. The lies are so obvious. But everybody just believes this stuff without thinking. And when people like us, conspiracy theories, say things, you all attack us. We do have the common sense. What we do is think critically, where you cannot think at all, right? You're too busy bagging us to listen to what we're saying. All of these are slam dunk so far. No, they're spoiler alerts, okay? So we have climate change. Of course the climate changes this fucking planet. Climate change. Right, what else? Let's go off track a bit, shall we? Right? These are spoiler alerts, things that will come to light. Not that I think I've got a couple of hitmen after me. No, I don't need to get this out real quick, real soon. Right. Pyramids. Of course the Egyptians didn't build the pyramids, right? Giza, 6.5 million tons, the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers. People actually believe that they carved the weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers out of some quarry or various quarries or wherever with copper hand tools. People, again, tap on the back of the head, right? Common sense. No, they didn't. It is obvious that the pyramids are ancient. 4.5 years ago, they would look exactly like they look now. There is a wear mark, a water wear mark, right, around the top of Giza. That wear pattern, it can only be done by water. People, you're arguing the point. Oh, it's earthquake damage. North, south, east and west, earthquake damage, right? Above all of the other pyramids, right, there's a pattern. Giza is smooth at the top. There's a freaking 20-meter wide gap. In some places it's 10, 12 meters deep, right? That is water wear. tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. It's a spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm allowed to do this. Spoiler alert, right? So the Egyptians stumbled across the pyramids. All these people, theories, floating stones up, right? The simple fact about the pyramids is there is no explanation, right, for how the first stone was cut out of any quarry with just copper hand tools, right? Something missing there, right? There is no explanation for how even the first stone was cut out of a quarry wall with copper handles. And for those of you that keep saying, yes, there is, there's this guy and he you should see him and he does it slowly and he can lift the whole rock up. We're talking about 6.5 million fucking tons, not a single rock, people. Honestly, it's the level of common sense is scary. There's people that are arguing the toss on all of these things, right? It's so unrealistic. These things, right? I'm not saying aliens, just a previous civilization that was on this planet. There's rocks, megaliths everywhere, right? And people, no, it's the Egyptians. It's like, seriously, the head. Tap the back of the head a couple more times. Knock that common sense back to where it's supposed to be. The pyramids are ancient. Nobody knows who built them or when they were built or how they were built. We do not know. It's obvious. They have been submerged. They were submerged for a long, long time. How we're ever going to find out how long, who knows? These are spoiler alerts, remember? So the pyramids. What else? Come on, one more. There's plenty of them. Or is that good? I was thinking 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Light, it's obviously absolute. Obviously, right? Absolute. The moon, no. Apollo's in 1968, 1969, 1970, 1970. One more. Because obviously, with light, relativity is going to take a little bit of a kicking, okay? That's another one. Well, no, because it's connected to light, right? Light's absolute. All of that other stuff, just go back to where you came from. Spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts, right? It will come out. It will come out, right? I'm amazed that it got this far. What was I going to do? The other one? This. God. 300 billionths of a second. The 2 atomic clocks that were out by 200 and something billionths or 300 billionths of a second in 1971. Absolute rubbish, right? Rubbish. I'm calling it right now. Rubbish. How on... Let them do it again now. Show us exactly how they measured in 1971. Remember, this is before the end of the Apollo era. All this stuff was going on, right? It's just ridiculous, right? The amount of absurdities that have got fed in, right? And the amount of stuff that people have just lapped up without thinking about it because it's been pressured, like boom, boom, boom. Everybody believes it and the kids believe it and then they grow up and they tell their kid, and it's a cycle that needs to be broken because these are obviously absurdities, right? They are. Slam dunk. But these are spoiler alerts, okay? So 300 billionths of a second out. Didn't happen. No. That too will come out. Like the camera that can take 10 frames per second and people are believing it. 10 fucking trillion frames per second. Oh, listen. And then people say to me, yeah, you don't understand the science. Science? This isn't science, it's magic. All right? So I think that's a good set of spoiler alerts. Write them down. Light. It will turn out to be absolute. It will, right? It's purely common sense. 299,792 kilometers per second. Whoever came up with that number, right? And the first person to dabble in light was Rona in the 1600s, and he did it by observing. I can't say it. What you need to do is, when Jupiter's in the night sky, go out into your garden and put yourself in the first person. Where would you even start, right? It's the things that people believe, and you think that you can critical think. You laugh at us, and they're conspiracy theorists, they can't even, they think they can critically think. You have no idea how we critically think, right down to the very ground zero of every subject. That is what critical thinking is. In fact, we go so far into these subjects, you lot don't even understand it, right? It's a fact. You just make fun of us because you haven't got, unfortunately, I'm not even going to go there. You've been diddled, okay? So, no moon, didn't happen. Thrust in a vacuum, you wait. Spoiler alerts, okay? Climate change, of course. Fucking planet. Molten core, earthquakes, volcanic activity everywhere. And the sun. Of course there's climate change. Nobody knows why the planet does what, when it does it. Slam dunk. Pyramids, obviously. Ancient, right? No, the Egyptians did not carve the equivalent weight of 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers or any other aircraft carrier out of any quarry with copper hand tools. It's just common sense. It's about logistics. Those of you that argue this point and you say, got one guy, I'm a stonemason. I say it can be done. Oh, really? And days and days back and forth. What do you do? Right? So we say, go and dig one stone out. Just one. Just one. Shut up. Everyone with your theories. Just show us how one stone was dug out with copper handles. Just one. Surely. Show us how Roma did it. Show us. You've got all the telescopes. Show us. Show us what it looks like. Show us what Io looks like as it comes out from planet Jupiter, from planet Earth. Show us. Don't just keep talking about it. Show us. Show us. Right? Won't happen, will it? Why won't it happen? It's all done. Surely anybody could just verify that now, couldn't they? Right? And you've got the whole eclipse thing, the sun. Some astrophysicists, same ones that say we wouldn't know the sun had gone out for 8 minutes and 20 seconds because light travels without a source. Rubbish. It goes out. The same ones say, when you're looking at the sun in the sky, it's not actually there. It's already 8 minutes and 20 seconds further that way or that way, whichever way you're looking at it. No, it's not. It's absolute light. It's only 108 diameters of itself away from us. It has a diameter of 1,390,000 kilometers. There is no travel time. We have never, ever been in a position between us and the sun where we can't see it. There doesn't suddenly come a time that 4.6 seconds per diameter. People, and just yesterday, right? I just can't believe it. Look, I'm sweating here, but it's stress, right? It's so hot. It's got a job, right? It's people, and they're arguing. They agree. They say no. It's perfectly normal. It makes perfect sense to me that it takes 4.6 seconds for the sun to rate it, and they say, well, it obviously does because that's the speed of light. That is the way it's like. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's a star. The sun, where you are? The sun, 35 minutes, God, this is a good one. The sun, they say, we divide the sun's diameter by 299,792, we get 4.6 seconds. The sun takes 4.6 seconds to radiate its own light, the distance of its own diameter. An absurdity. UY Scuti has a diameter of 2,377,000,000 kilometers. That's what they tell us, okay? If we divide that by the speed of light, we get 7,928 seconds. Be my guest. Verify these numbers, right? If we divide 7,928 by 60, we get 132 minutes. That's 2 hours and 12 minutes. It takes UY Scuti, according to your Mickey Mouse science speed of light, 2 hours and 12 minutes to radiate its light, the distance of one of its diameters. Listen, I wish I could swear right now. Openly swear and say how I truly feel right now, okay? Then we've got Stevenson, 218. Doesn't get talked about as much as it should do. It has an alleged diameter of close to 3 billion kilometers. 2,990,000,000 kilometers. If we divide its diameter by the speed of light, we get 9,973 seconds. Not 7,900. We divide that by 60, we get 166 minutes. That's 2 hours and 46 minutes. That star takes 2 hours, right, and 46 minutes to radiate its own light, the distance of its own diameter. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to start finding some common sense, right? A bulb, when I was doing the demo here, trying to find a bulb, when I did the speed of light thing, we needed a bulb, I'm not going to get it, we needed a bulb that would take 4.6 seconds to radiate its light the distance of its diameter. Because we brought the solar system, not the solar system, we brought the sun and planet Earth down to scale. See, this is something else. You couldn't even understand this when I brought something down to scale. How on earth are we supposed to explain this basic stuff when you don't even know how to work this out? There's something terrible going on. This is all common sense. If I bring everything down to scale, right, a 3 millimeter sun, the distance between the sun and planet Earth would be 32.4 centimeters. It's to scale. That means that when we switch the sun on, because everything is to scale, it remains the same, right? It will take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for that sun to reach Earth. One person, 2 days. You need to scale down the wavelength of the light. Listen, mate, it's already all scaled down in proportion. It's already done. You don't tweak things individually. Everything has been shrunk down in proportion. How can people not understand this? What have they been teaching you at school? So we turn this on. Does it still work? Ta-da! Of course it does. It's a star. Now, if this was closed and it was dark, if it was pitch black, you'd see it over by the house. A 3 millimeter bulb. What we would expect to see is a bulb that behave like the sun, because everything's been brought down to scale in proportion at the same ratio. So we would expect our sun to take 4.6 seconds to radiate its light with 3 millimeters. It's a slam dunk. It can't be argued with. All these people that say, no, because it's so small. It's to scale. Now, if we bought Stevenson 218 and we did the same thing, not with the solar system because it doesn't have planets, I don't know what it has around it, right? But if we brought it down to scale and we used I don't know, a 10 centimeter bulb for its diameter, right? We had it to scale with something else, with UI Scooty, for example, right, in the background, at a sports field. Not massive, but just the size of a soccer ball, and UI Scooty maybe the size of a tennis ball, something like that, right? You would watch Stevenson, because it's to scale, take 2 hours and 46 minutes to radiate its light the distance of the ball, because that is what is happening up there. It's a diameter. It doesn't matter how big the diameter is, it's a diameter, right? Again, I was going to say don't argue if you don't understand the subject, but the thing is, most of you don't even understand that you don't understand the subject you're talking about, and you still argue and you say absurdities, things that make no sense. Slam dunk. I'm being honest here, right? I'm being honest. So there are your spoiler alerts. These are absurdities, right? This doesn't happen. Nothing takes that long to radiate light the distance of its diameter. Stevenson 218, UI Scooty, our sun, the day they appeared, the day they switched on, bang, boosh, the light radiated at absolute speed and then stopped, right? You can either see the light from a star or a light source immediately, right? Or you don't see it at all. It's not going to catch up with you the day after tomorrow because it's traveling. You either see it immediately or you don't see it at all. It's a slam dunk. It's common sense. That is light. That's it, right? 299 and this and photon and this and the other and neutrinos. People, they're stars. They don't know how fast the light radiates. It's absolute. It's faster than we can comprehend. Of course there's travel time, but forget about it. Like our eyesight goes to Proxima Centauri in an instant. We see there's no distance we cannot see if there is a light bright enough. Slam dunk. Right. 42 minutes. Are you for real? Right, I'm done. I'm going to take the rest of the day off. There are your spoiler alerts. Humanity, you need to wake up and spot the absurdities and stop teaching your kids rubbish. Later, peeps.